Hi, my name is Zach Talbot, and the topic of my project is extracting synthetic crude from the oil sands. And the first question you might have are, what are oil sands? And oil sands are a 90% mixture of sand, clay, and water. The other 10% is something called bitumen. And bitumen is just a mixture of hydrocarbons. It can be thought of as petroleum that exists naturally in a solid or semi-solid state. And the largest known site in the world is in Alberta, Canada, and it could make Canada the second largest oil producer in the world, and only about 3% of the 54,800 square kilometers are currently being mined. And with advances in technology, this number is expected to increase. And there's about 2 trillion barrels estimated that can be extracted from oil sands all over the world. And the next thing is, how do we actually extract this? What's the process? The first step is to select a site. And once you have your site, if there's wetlands on your site, you need to drain the wetlands, you need to divert rivers away, and then you come in with these giant bulldozers and scoop away the trees, shrubs, soil, everything to get to the oil sand that's underneath. And unfortunately, this displaces all the wildlife in the area. But then once you've scooped up the ground and the oil is exposed, you can start mining it with these giant just scoop shovels that'll scoop it into these colossal sized dump trucks. But you can only get about 20% from mining from the surface. The other 80% you can get by injecting steam into the ground, which reduces the viscosity of the bitumen and the oil sands underneath, and then you can actually pump it out because it'll be less viscous. But once you get your oil sands on these dump trucks, it takes it to the nearest extraction facility where they mix it with water and heat it using natural gas. And the bitumen will actually separate from the rest of the mixture because it's way denser. And once you have pure bitumen, you can upgrade it and ship it to the nearest refinery by a pipeline. But there are a lot of environmental impacts that go along with this. This is the edge of a typical mining site, and as you can see on the right, there is a lot of green natural vegetation, what the landscape used to look like, and then these giant machines just carving away at the earth, taking some of that away. And the staggering thing is, in this picture, this is what a site looks like when it's pretty much done. And these sites are massive. To put things into perspective, this is one of those dump trucks that I was talking about earlier, and it looks pretty small in this picture, but this is it compared to a human, and they are massive dump trucks. They're about 3 stories tall, cost about $5 million each, and all this giant equipment and this energy-intensive process to upgrade the bitumen to synthetic crude, there's a lot of waste that goes on. And it's estimated that to create 1 barrel of synthetic crude oil, you waste about 4 barrels of water, enough natural gas to heat a home for about 4 days, and 4 tons of earth. And the biggest part is that the wasted water is contaminated, and what they do is they basically dump it into these giant ponds. And there's a huge fear with environmentalists out there that there's cancer-causing agents in this contaminated water that's seeping into the groundwater, which can endanger the lives of people in the area. But there are a lot of benefits as well, and the biggest one is that Canada would become a major oil producer. Their proven reserves show that they have the second most proven reserves in the world, only behind Saudi Arabia. But if technology advances, it's estimated that they'll have 8 times the proven reserves as Saudi Arabia if technology can advance and they can get to some of the oil sands that are a little bit deeper. But the other big thing is that this is stimulating Canada's economy. It's creating jobs there, and there's about $100 billion estimated to be invested in just the oil sands projects over the next 10 years. And last month there was actually a 100,000 job shortage in the oil sands industry. And this is a high-paying oil industry job, which obviously brings a lot of wealth and benefit to the people in the area and the economy of Canada. The one thing that the government is requiring people to do is replant the forests and refill in the mines when they're done, with the hope that over the next 20 years that things will go back to normal and you won't even be able to tell that there was a mining site there before. But energy independence in North America is the main goal, and that's why the United States is so heavily involved. So in conclusion, accessing the oil sands really terrible for the environment. You're basically destroying trees, diverting rivers, disrupting wildlife to get to it, and the process of extracting and making crude is very energy intensive and costly. And the contamination of groundwater is a major fear among environmentalists. But the benefits of having Canada be a major oil producer, stimulating their economy, creating jobs, putting people to work, and creating energy independence in North America is the main goal of this. and hopefully they will be able to replant the forests and stuff when they're done, and everything will return to normal. But thank you for your time. That is my project.